Mr. Mike Jones, Mr. Trapperversity, brother. You got the floor.
All right, let me see if I can unmute here. Hold on.
Here, let me ask unmute. Let me ask you to unmute. Let me ask you to unmute. All right, there you go.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you,
Hi, man. Thank
brother.
you,
Go
bro. I
ahead. It's on
appreciate
you.
it, man. Thank you for the intro. You can see my screen too?
Yeah. We can see your screen.
All right, fire. All right, man. Listen. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for for putting this together. Always, moving forward in the space. Education is so important, and a lot of these things get overlooked. So I wanted to thank the host. I wanted to because I know you guys always been putting in these events. I wanted to thank everybody that invited me to be here, and I wanted to thank you guys for actually being here and investing in yourself, right? Because like I said before, information it's at all-time high right now, but applying it to the correct way, it's really difficult, right? Because we live in an era that information is abundant, right? But we really need help in application. And that's why being in rooms like this is really helpful, not only for us as people that like to share this information, right? And affect more people, but also for people like you guys, right? Because it's a certain type of person that show up to these meetings and these rooms. It's somebody that works maybe a 9 to 5, or maybe is a beginning entrepreneur, somebody that wants more out of life, right? And that's the people that are here in this room today. It's somebody that is always want to improve themselves. So I commend you for that, right? Because as the times go by, I think it's gonna be more and more hard. It's harder to make money, okay? And I'm not just saying this right now. It's just, as the time goes by in the world that we live in today, it's going to be very hard for you to switch social classes. And I'll go as far as saying that if you don't switch your social class in the next decade or so, you're probably going to be stuck in whatever you are for the rest of your life. And so with your offsprings, right? And I'm not trying to be dramatic in here. I'm just trying to let you know that the world is evolving very fast and it's changing. But before I get into all of that, I prepared a little presentation for you guys here. But before I get into all of that, I want to understand the room a little bit, right? Like, drop for me number one if you know nothing about crypto and you have invested nothing about crypto or no investments at all. Drop a number two if you have some investments, you understand a little bit of crypto, a little bit of stock. And then number three, if you're a Chad, you know what I'm saying? You've been doing this, you already know a lot of this stuff. So let me see. So just so I can tone, I hate to talk to a room and just talk things that it goes over your head. So I like to get the idea of what are you guys up to, and then I can blend in and give you the sauce. All right, perfect. I like 1.5. I like the hunter say, yo, 1.5. Feel me? I'm not there, but I'm not here yet. All right, so 1, 2 is a mix. So we have some beginners, but we also have some people that have invested. So that's important, right? And you wanna give yourself a round of applause because back 20 years ago when I was growing up, this was not possible, right? If you wanted to invest, you needed to go through a third party. That guy was not gonna pick up your phone because you only have a few dollars. He was only picking up the phone for people that have bread, right? So this is really, really hard to invest back then. Now we have free tools, we have free information, we have communities, we have access that you can pay for. So it's unexcusable for you to be broke these days or not custody your own money or not understand how money functions in a society like today. And that's my job. That's what I do online because my name is Michael. My friends call me Trap. Back in 2019, I used to work for corporate America. I did the American dream. I got my bachelor's degree. I climbed the corporate world. I got a really good job. I was traveling around the United States teaching people about sales tactics and how to make money and also how to understand their commission check, right? For a company called Sprint. I don't know if you guys know about Sprint. Maybe you guys are too young for that, but that was like a very shitty company, Sprint. The CEO that I work for took that company and turned it into a $26 billion company and sold it to T-Mobile. So now it's a T-Mobile, and that's where I was, right? So when they sold the company, I had a decision to make. Either I stay with the company and join the T-Mobile, or I could take a package. So I took my package, cashed out my 401k, and I bet on myself. And that's what I feel like my word today that I'm getting to give you guys is that bet on yourself. Okay, so like I want you to write that on over here on this box, right on the cat, like put like that. I'm a bet on myself. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I did, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with working, or some people are slaves to their own business too. What I'm saying is this: sometimes in life, right, nothing changes if nothing changes, and today could be day one or just another day, right? But it's Friday, you out here, so I'm trying to give you as much as I can. And I'm not really good at a lot of things, but I'm really good at getting things that are hard to understand, and I break it down to lingo from the streets, from the regular people, because I'm a regular people. Even though I did the corporate thing, even though I've been working on different things now, I feel like I can speak to the regular people. And so in 2020, I quit my job, I cashed out my 401k, I went full blown on myself, and I started looking into crypto and stocks. Invested in crypto. I did a round trip, like Mike Sotero was saying. I've shared stages with Mike many times. He's a solid guy in the industry, and I give him some solid kudos because he's been around for a while. And that's one thing about the crypto people. There's a lot of shady people on the internet teaching crypto, and so a lot of them don't survive. And for as long as I know, as long as I've been around, Mike has been around. So I fucks with him, so he's good. But what I'm trying to say here is that you have to find somebody that you have affinity with, right? Because you learn. Remember, it's like school. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the days when you had school, like which classes did you learn better? It was the teachers that you most liked. It was the teachers or either the teacher you liked or it was the topic that you liked. So figure those things out and then go all in on those. What you can't do is nothing because, like I said, the robots are coming. Right? AI is coming. There's a lot of things that are going to be happening in the next 5 to 10 years. The world will be a different place, right? So you have to prepare for yourself and a family. And there are ways to do that now. And I'm not here to sell you a dream. You get me? I'm not going to be here, millions overnight. Nah, making money is boring. Making money is boring. There's some fun stories out there, but for every story that you hear that somebody put $400 and turned into $1 million, there's a billion stories of people that put $1 million and turned it into 400. Okay, so I'm not here to sell that type of dream. The dream that I am here to sell is that you can take back your time by investing in yourself. And I'm not saying that you can make millions here. What I'm saying is that you can replace an income, right? Or you can add a few extra dollars. And there are ways today to do that faster than ever through AI, through crypto, through e-commerce, right? So my story exactly started around 2020. I wanted to trade. I wanted to invest for my own money, right? Because I work corporate and I understood that people that have 401ks, I'm not saying that it's wrong. It's better than nothing, right? But you're paying somebody to invest money from you, and they're removing your winnings every year as a form of management fee. And it's crazy because they press the button one time and then never do anything again. So it's up to you to manage your money. Back in the days, we couldn't do that, but now you have the tools. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. So if you can see my screen, drop a 1 in the chat, right? I'm about to start talking about the blueprint to financial freedom, right? Which sounds like, oh my God, cliche, but it's not really cliche, okay? It's not cliche. This is a real plan here, right? Because what's happening here is that your finance, the dollar it's the strongest currency on earth, even though there's other currencies that are perceived as stronger, right? The pound and the euro and things like that. But the dollar is still the strongest. And it's actually falling behind eventually is going to transition, right? And the digital space, I believe strongly that the blockchain would eventually envelop the world, meaning that the entire world will be tokenized. And for the people that are new that don't understand, tokenization is when you get a real asset, let's say a car or maybe a house from the real world, and you put it on the blockchain, meaning you make an entry there, you pay and you stamp it. Once it's there forever, right? And that's gonna happen to a lot of the assets. Already happening. People like Larry Fink, which is the CEO of BlackRock and Vanguard, they run all the companies. If you look for ownership in all the companies like Google, Apple, if you look at the percentage, BlackRock, Vanguard are there. Those people rule the world. Those people are here as well. So you can't keep listening to the people that are not where you at, right? And thinking that you're gonna do well. You have to understand, investment is your job, but you cannot invest if you don't have money. So what you need to do is you need to either invest in yourself or find an extra way to make money. And that's what we're going to talk about here. That's what this whole workshop is about, right? This workshop is about us talking about different skills, different set of skills that can allow you to create an extra income. Does that make sense? Let me know if I'm hitting a nerve there, right? And that's what I want to talk about here. So why me? Why should you guys listen to what I gotta say? You shouldn't. You shouldn't listen to anybody on the internet for your own finance or for relationship advices. What you should do is take reference, right? Take reference for what I say, and then you put it against your own knowledge and your own research about the things that I say. I'm just a spark of electricity that says, hey, take a look at this way. Hey, pointing this way. It's your job to look the way and say, is this way works for me? Because that's the thing about investing, right? Investing, you need to understand that there's not one way fits everybody. Everybody's investment is different. So like, what it's so funny on the internet when I hear these people trying to do things and it's like, oh, here, this is the way. And it's not. It's not, because the strategy that I use might not work for you. And if you don't have a strategy, then use mine because you don't have one, right? But you know, it's not one thing fits all. And it's kind of like Mike Tyson said, what you can't do is not have a plan. Because Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Okay? Punched in the face, the plan goes out the window. But how about 99% of you guys that are out here without a plan? You don't have a plan when you're buying an asset. You don't have a plan when you're taking profits. You don't have a plan when you're storage. You don't have a plan for security of that asset. You don't have a plan if you die tomorrow, who's going to have access to the access. Like, these are basic things that we need to start thinking about. And I get it. It's a cultural shift. It's not intellectual. It's a cultural shift because we're not born into this. We didn't learn this, a lot of us, right? Because of where we came from. I came from a very humble beginning. I'm Brazilian, was born in Brazil, raised in Miami, came here very young, right? I've been raised in the United States. So I understand that my mom she became an entrepreneur at an older age, but she's very humble as well. And we learned these things, right? Now versus back then is different. You can take care of your money. You can invest your own money. Let me ask a question. Out of everybody in here, who here has either S&P 500 or anything equivalent or Bitcoin investments in your wallets right now? Put a number 1 in the chart if you have either one. And then put a number 2 if you have neither one. Okay? There you go. We got Amari says he has both. He has them, right? So the reason why I'm asking is because if you don't want too much risk, then you go S&P 500, right? Which the stocks has been here for as long as we know. It's regulated. There's rules. Now, because it has rules, this is the thing about risk, and we'll talk about this towards the end because I have broken down the portfolio types. But this is the thing about investments. There's no investments without risk. So the first thing you need to understand is, how much risk do I want to take? How fast do I want to go? And those things, if it's fast, it cannot be if it's fast, it cannot be safe. You feel me? It's like driving a car. If you're driving a car and you want to have fun, 300 miles per hour, yeah, you can't. That can't be safe, right? So you have to think about your investments the same way, right? If you wanna buy one stock like Tesla, right? Oh, Tesla is gonna dominate the world. Yeah, but you gotta understand that the same upside risk is the same downside, so it can swing both ways. If you don't like that much volatility, then instead buy an S&P 500 because inside of it there's Tesla, there's Apple, there's Amazon. So you're getting exposure to 500 companies, less volatility. But then on the other side, you're only gonna make about 10% every year return. So for every $1,000 you have invested in S&P 500, you're gonna get $100 a year. Sometimes it could be a little bit more, sometimes it could be a little bit down. Over a decade period, it tends to be anywhere between as low as 8 and as high as 12. Okay? So that's the basics. So like, if you don't have S&P 500 or Bitcoin, like that's the first thing. Like, you shouldn't be talking meme coin, you shouldn't be talking Link, Chainlink, XRP. Like, that shouldn't be on your vocabulary. It's just because that's just basics. And that's why a lot of people lose it and they quit crypto and they quit investing, because they buy all these shit that are shit coins or shit stocks because it's gonna moon. And then when the market churns, right, they sell and they run, right? Because they're losing money without a plan. So that's the thing. Have a plan. It doesn't have to be the trap plan. It doesn't have to be the Mike Sotero plan. But you got to have a plan. Do you agree? Like, who agrees here? Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't just be raw banding things in life. You know, like when you go to a job, when you go get a job, you have a plan. You create a resume, you shave, you put your nice clothes on, you smell good, you put the gum in your mouth. Hopefully, I used to interview a lot of people with bad breath. It's like, dude, if you can't even take care of your breath, like, you can't do this job, bro. It doesn't matter what type of job it is. Like, you can't have self-hygiene and self-conscious that your breath stinks right now and you're in an interview with a possible boss. Like, some of these things can't be taught, right? Thank God other things could. So long story short, this slide right here talks about those things, right? Me, why? Well, I'm a trader. I've traded over 7 figures yearly for the past 5 years, right? And I've also sold online as well. Not only I sell on my actual Trapiversity channel because I give a lot of information for free, but I do workshops and I do mentorships for like 3 months, 12 months, and things like that. So because of that, I've been able to capitalize in the digital space. So I feel like everybody should be there. So like you don't have to be an influencer to make money online. Like that's the future. If you're not online today, you're behind. Every one of you guys here, that 15 people that are here right now, if you're not online today building your brand, you're behind, right? I'm not telling you that you need to sell things, but this is another thing here. Don't be afraid to sell and don't be intimidated to sell. If you're making somebody better and you're charging for your time, that's okay. The thing is this, a lot of the internet, there's a lot of garbage on the internet, but when you find people that are decent, you should pay. You know why? Because life is like a coach. When you want to get better in soccer, you pay a coach, right? The team wins because of the coach, right? When you want to do better on the gym, you hire a personal trainer. But you want to trade or invest or sell online and you don't want to pay nobody for that, right? And I'm not saying courses, okay? Courses are done. If you're paying for a course in 2026, you're a little slow. I'm sorry, because you have AIs. You can just say, hey, give me a course on cryptocurrency. Give me a course on e-commerce, on selling on Amazon. That's my e-commerce side. I sold over $1 million, $1.5 million the past 4 years on Amazon, right? Over and over with something called Amazon arbitrage, which is I buy from retail in promotional value or discounted, and then I send it to Amazon and then sell to you guys for a premium, right? So that's a way I found to accumulate money after work, right? When I quit my job, I was home trading. I got into a really, really bad time in COVID time, right? I was locked in the house, gambling, because at that time I was gambling. I was investing, I was doing well, and I was making money. Everybody was making money at that time. You didn't have to be a genius. So, I overextended myself. It was a learning curve, and ever since then, I've been on the internet. I found e-commerce, which keeps me busy, warehouse, shopping every time, shipping things, dealing with people. So I like that, right? What I'm saying is you have to find your thing, right? It could be flipping online, something on eBay, or flipping, on Amazon like I do. It could be your own Shopify. You can make personal creams, Etsy. What you can't do is nothing, right? Ideally, you want to make extra income, because if you don't have $5,000 to invest right now, you shouldn't be talking about investing. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not that type of guy that is gonna come in here and paint that for you. If you don't have $5 grand to invest, I think you should invest whatever money you have on yourself. You should invest on yourself, on a skill that is gonna allow you to make an extra $500 a month consistently. And now you invest that 500. You invest in that $500 a month consistently is better result than you're putting $1,000, $3,000 right now. And I can prove that to you. Let me show you right now, right here, right? Look, I created this for this class too. It's an actual calculator. Okay, so this is called a dollar cost average. If you ever heard about dollar cost average, what it is, put DCA on the chat, so I know that you already heard of it. But what it is the best investment strategy ever. What that means is you choose an asset and you invest in it forever without having to think about it. So let's say Bitcoin, right? If I want to invest $100 in Bitcoin, right, which is, I call it the trap bill. Everybody should have a trap bill, because you need to pay yourself first before you pay your bills. And you have an FPL, you have an internet bill, you have a car bill, you have a groceries bill, but you don't have a self bill, you don't have a retire me bill, you don't have a let me get rich bill. Like, what's up? Like, that's crazy to me that people don't see that, because you're exchanging your time for money in your job or in your business. But you have to understand that money needs to grow, because even when you're sleeping, you're spending money. So if your money's not growing while you're sleeping, you're spending it, and that's the problem. And that's why the math never maths, and that's why people struggle, because they think that because I just gotta make enough money to pay for one. No, bro. When you're sleeping, your car's still getting charged, your AC is on. There's a lot of things happen, so you need to find a way for the money to work. And that's what I say. You always should have a dollar cost averaging, right? Where it's like you invest that money forever, no matter what happens. So it doesn't matter what it is. I like to say, people say, oh, I have 10,000. Where can I put 10,000? You don't do that. Right? You're going to break $100 every Friday, right? And then you're going to buy that asset. That's what I recommend. If it's $100 that you're going to invest a month, you don't buy $100 at once. You do what's called a dollar cost average. You buy $25 every Friday, because that way you buy the price down here, up here, down here, down here. And by the time you get it and you average, you're doing better than if you bought it all at once. Because if I bought it all at once and Bitcoin dropped 20%, you lost $20 out of your 100. So that's what's called the dollar cost average. And I'm going to show you here. If you guys can see, if you had invested $100 a month, okay, in Bitcoin since 2020, which is when I quit my corporate job, right? And the price of Bitcoin right now is 78,000. Okay, this is what a portfolio. Oops. This is what it will be looking like. Okay, you would have invested 6,000 up to now. Your portfolio would have been worth 20K right now. Okay, this is how much you have, a quarter of a Bitcoin. Which, let me tell you something, you only need 10% of a Bitcoin. A lot of people think they need an entire Bitcoin. That's incorrect. All you need is 0.10. Put it in the chat for me. 0.10. That's all you need. You know why? Because 0.10 is going to put you on the top 1% of owners 10 years from now. Because not everybody's going to be able to own a whole Bitcoin. If you own a whole Bitcoin, you're going to be on another level in a decade from now. Right? So that's what you have to understand. I appreciate that, Raj. This is what I do, man. I get in my flow. You feel me? I speak the language that people understand. So look, dollar cost average is going to be trading. It's going to be investing crazy. It's going to be dropping 10 grand, all of that. And what I'm trying to tell you is that 0.10 of a Bitcoin can be worth a lot of money. 0.10 of a Bitcoin can be worth $1 million in the next 10 years. That's insane because 0.10 of a Bitcoin right now costs you $7,800. So you don't need $78,000. You hear me? All you need is action. You need 10% of it. You need 0.10 of a Bitcoin. That'll put you you want to be in the top 10% of the world? Because we're on the bottom 90% struggling to get on the top. You know what I'm saying? You want to be on the top of the world? 0.10 for retirement. Right now, it costs your retirement, your comfortable retirement right now is costing you $7,800 and you're playing with yourself. You're playing with yourself because you spend that money on all the vices. Right? We drink, we smoke, we party, we impress with ladies, right? The ladies spend on the eyelashes and the hair. I know all of that. Because, my family in the restaurant business, my family in the spa business growing up. So I know we have the futilities, the things you spend money on. And right now, your retirement can be $7,800. But you're not ready for that. And I guarantee you, I cannot guarantee prices or anything like that, but I guarantee you that eventually the world is going to wake up to what we're doing here. Okay? And at the top of the spear is Bitcoin. Okay, and I'm gonna show you a few things. So do you guys like this calculator? I know you like this, right? Let's look at this. If you make this $500 a month, look at this. If you made this $500 a month, you would have invested $30,000 in the past 5.5 years. Your portfolio right now would have been $100,000. That's 3.4x. There's no investments like that right now in the world that gives you that kind of investment, right? And you would have had 1.3 Bitcoin. And all you had to worry about was putting $100 a week for the past 5-6 years. This is what I'm trying to tell you. And some people are like, oh, I'm going to buy Dogecoin, or I'm going to buy Pepe Coin, or I'm going to buy Trapcoin because it's going to make me a millionaire because it's a penny. It's going to go to $1. Forget about that. You have to understand market cap. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's good. Like, there's a lot of things that go into it. Don't be that person. Buy Bitcoin, shut up, and move. Now, if you want to play with the money, you want to take a little bit more risk, top 5 coins. That's it. You should be playing your top 5. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and BNB. That's it. That's it. You don't know enough. Everything else could be a scam. And there's rules and regulation that are going to be passing right now through Congress that can make some of these coins undoable to continue. So that you're going to take... Listen, trust me, if you don't have Bitcoin in your wallet, you shouldn't even be looking at the others because you need to create 2 things, a long-term portfolio, a short-term portfolio. We'll talk about that later. But ideally, you don't want to have the money in the same place because then you're risking everything and you're losing everything together. No, you got to have a long-term portfolio where you're constantly adding to it, just like a 401k. You feel me? Make a bill today, bro. If you never hear from me again, like, yo, I sat and I listened to this guy. He kind of makes sense, bro. I pay all these fucking bills, excuse me the French, and I never pay myself. You spend thousands of dollars every month paying out the man, but not $100 a month investing for you, for your future. When I'm telling you that your future can be a nice retirement, even if it's worst case scenario, that 10x is $78,000 out of $7,800 investment, but best case scenario is 100x, and that could be or $780,000 in next decade. Like, it's a no-brainer to me. But, who am I? I'm a crazy guy on the internet. Don't listen to me. Another thing I wanted to show you, I created these 3 calculators for you guys because I wanted to make an impact in your life today so that I can show you visually, because a lot of people are visual learners. Some people come in here and they blah, 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 and it just goes right over your head because it's like, okay, great, sounds great, but I don't understand half of that junk. So I like visual stuff. And this right here is called the 4% rule. I don't make this shit up. This is all factual, okay? There's something called the 4% rule, which means that if you If you have enough invested, you can withdraw 4% a year and live off of that, and your money will never run out as long as you have an investment that beats the 4%. And the reason for that number is because of inflation, right? They created a scam with the money. They lend the money, they print the money, they raise rates, they lower rates. They do all that to take the money from you. Otherwise, you be rich. Everybody cannot be rich for the world to function. Some people got to do the bad jobs, you know what I'm saying? So they created a system to scam us and keep us in this loop, right? Some of people are gonna wake up and go in rooms like this and listen to a crazy motherfucker called Trap, and they're gonna wake up and they're gonna do something about it. Well, here's another tool for you to wake up. It's called the 4% calculator, which means that how much money do I have to have by retirement so that I can live off that money? So this is it. So how much does it cost for you to live right now? Some of y'all don't even know, and it's crazy to me, bro. Like, it's crazy to me that you don't know how much it costs for you to breathe. That's insane, my guys. Like, you got to do something about that. So understand. So if it costs you $5,000 a month, hey, listen, my house, my rent, my food, and this, that cost me $5,000. Great. If then you plug that in there, right? And then the current savings, how much you have saved right now. If it's zero, I'm going to put zero because most people have zero. And I don't believe in savings. If your money is in savings, you lost too, because inflation is eating away. If you had $1,000 in savings last year, right, you can pump 10 gas 10 times. The same $1,000 today, you pump 5 times. It's still $1,000, but you didn't buy an asset. So it didn't grow. You kept your money on money, right? On savings, because your parents told you to save, and that's what they teach you in school. The scam place that they send you for 12 years, yeah, they teach you to save because they take away what you save. You save, they print. You save, they tax. You save, they inflate it. Does that start to make, does this sound, I don't know, I'm getting a little excited, but does this sound like your life? Like, drop a little something here. Give me a little emotion, because I think I'm on one right now. So look, if you have $0 and you can save for your retirement $500, you're going to be behind, but we're going to do that math anyways, right? So look, DM me later, bro. I'll give you the link for the calculator. So look, I created this with Claude too, so I can show you how to create it. So long story short, look, if it costs me $60,000 a year, which is $5,000 a month to live, to breathe, right? So if it costs us that much, then that means that I need to have, okay, I need to have $1.5 million invested by the time I retire, which is 40 years from now, okay? So that will be, this is what it's going to do. If I have a $1.5 million and I'm getting a return, right, that is a good return, like a 10% or S&P 500 or better, that means I can withdraw from that money $60,000 a year, which is 4%, $5,000 a month, and that money will never run out. Make sense? So this is some of the things that you have to start thinking about. And then I gave you another calculator because I always over deliver. I don't know how to do anything else. My mind is like, how can I give? I'm a giver. I want to die empty. I'm on my Lord to look at me and say, good servant. You know what I'm saying? You did well. That's me. All right. So look, this right here is called the calculated retirement. You go in here, you put your age, 35 years old. What age you want to retire? I want to, let's go 65, give you a little bit more time. Life expectancy. Hey, I'm, healthy. I want to live into 90, right? Current savings. Maybe I have some, maybe I have don't. I'm going to put 50K just in case as an example, but you could put zero, maybe you don't have. Now, how much money are you putting monthly? Listen, I'm not going to put too much, just $500, okay? And my monthly income needed, like we talked about, is I need $5,000. That's how it costs for me to live, right? So boom. Now, the inflation rate here allows me to go up and down. I'm just going to leave it at 3.5 because it fluctuates a little bit, but let's just say with 3. Now, when I click this, it tells me exactly how much money I will have for retirement if I continue to do what I'm doing. You see here, it tells me am I on track or I'm not on track, right? My monthly income will be 9.3. So this is what I need to understand. My contribution, I'm going to contribute in the next 40 years, 230 grand. The compounding, listen to this word, because this word here is the 8th wonder of the world and nobody talks about it. It's called compounding, right? Stupidity compounds, intelligence compounds, and so does money. Thank goodness for that, right? So compounding is where the money is at. That's why you need to start early. If you love your kids, if you have kids right now and you have $20,000 invested in your kid's name, by the time they turn 21 and you give that to them, they will retire a millionaire and they won't have to put a penny in it. And they don't teach this in school because they don't want you to have financial freedom, kids or people. They want people to stay in their own places. Do you understand that? They want you to stay where you at. So I'm giving you the sauce. If you have a kid, start putting $100 a month on a Roth IRA so it grows tax-free, right? And then when they turns 21, he never has to put another dollar. If they have $20,000 by the time they turn 21 invested and they put it on something like the S&P 500 conservatively, I'm not even talking crypto, Bitcoin. I'm talking just S&P 500. They will have over $1.5 million by the time they're 40 years old. This is just math, right? So you need to understand that happens because of something called compound, right? It compounds in time. So you have to think in decades. But the problem is that culturally, we have been taught to think about the freaking weekend only and my next paycheck and what I'm spending it on. That's the problem. That's the problem. We need to think in terms of decades. You need to think in terms of what is going to happen when you're not having the job, when there's a pandemic and the world closes. This is real right now. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger. I'm just trying to say is that we need to start thinking, right? What's coming up. And then this right here is a study I did on actual AI, because most people are trying to buy AI right now. Oh, NVIDIA. No, you got to think about the structure. AI is growing. So I'm thinking already copper, photonics. I'm thinking all the agents. So I'm going to send this to everybody here. So just DM me after. I'm going to give you this for free. It's a search that I did for my group. I have a group that I put out this information for them. And this right here is the top 10 companies that are going to quadruple in money right now, because it's something called the midstream and upstream. So that means that right now, NVIDIA chips are on fire. But think about it. AI is growing. Data centers are being built. What are they going to need in those data centers? Connectors. They're going to need photonic cables, because right now they use copper. Copper's too hot, too much information. So you don't need to understand all this. You just need to understand that there's tons of opportunity. Whether it's stocks, whether it's crypto, whatever it is, there are tons of opportunities. What you can't do is do nothing. You need to take ownership of your money and growing it and custodying it and understanding. And if you don't know how to do that, then belong in some rooms, because although you shouldn't be buying courses, you should be buying access to be in rooms that you need to be in to accelerate the growth. Otherwise, you're going to have to learn yourself, right? Now, another tool that I'm going to give you guys is called Blockchain Center. And if you go here, it tells you what are the coins doing right now? What are the opportunities of buying? So if you want to buy crypto and you're like, I want to just I want everything. I want high risk. Okay, you come here to this website right here, and it tells you the best coins are the ones that have lost the most, right? These are the coins that are discounted against Bitcoin. These are the ones that are green. Top 50 performance over the last 90 days. So in the past 90 days, the red coins are underperforming against Bitcoin, and the whole crypto market's measured against Bitcoin, because for every dollar that comes into the crypto space, 60 cents goes into Bitcoin and 40 cents gets divided between million coins. So that's why you have to have Bitcoin, because it's 60% of the market. So when people say Bitcoin is going to zero, then the whole market is going to zero. And that's ignorant to say, because it dominates 60%. That's like saying the S&P 500 is going to zero, and that represents the best 500 companies in the United States. So you're saying that those companies are going to fail? Like it's bananas, right? But pretty much, I think that's pretty much, I'm going to just go a little bit longer here in this thing here. Just going to go very fast here, because I know I'm running out of time. Give me, Brian Amari, tell me how much time I got left so I know how fast I can crunch this last information here, please. So now you understand, right? Oh, opportunity. Oh, crypto. Oh, stocks. Cool. Got it. You understand that part. Now you need to understand how, which tools, where do I buy it? How do I get exposure? Oh, I don't know how to do this. So what are the ways, right? So there's multiple ways. There's other crypto. Okay, I got you. There's other cryptos that you can buy, but you should start with Bitcoin. If you know enough, then you should hold the Bitcoin yourself. Right? If you know enough, if you should hold a crypto, you could be a ledger, but don't complicate it. If you're not going to buy a $100 ledger, just download a Wi-Fi, a DeFi wallet, which means that like a MetaMask or a Phantom or a Trust wallet, those also are yours because they come with keys. They're just not physical. So they're called hot wallets. They're connected all the time, right? So the ones that they show, the Ledger, which I don't like because has back doors and it has, you know, a lot of issues too. They all do, but like the Ledger has more. I like Trezors because I buy it directly from the factory and they ship it to my house. Nobody's touching it, like, so it's different. It's a preference thing. Some people like one, some people like the other. But what you can't do is nothing. Yes, I love Robinhood for beginners because very easy to use. And in Robinhood, you can create an auto buy. So you can put, hey, buy $25 of Bitcoin every Friday. That's the best thing you do, bro. Don't worry about price goes up, price goes down. Because when Bitcoin is $250,000, it doesn't matter if you bought it at $60,000 or at $100,000. What matter if you bought it consistently. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a difference. So like that's what I'm trying to get people to understand. So look, if you don't know how to hold and buy and you don't want to deal with the wallets, that's okay. You're going to get less upside, but you're still going to get to absorb it. How? You go to the stock market and you buy things like ETFs, which is one is called IBIT. That's the BlackRock ETF. What they do is they buy the Bitcoin, they hold it for you, and you buy a share that is worth the Bitcoin. Eventually, you'll be able to cash out. You get upside or downside based on the stock. That's called, and that's an ETF. Now, if you want to go a little further, there's this crazy guy named Michael Saylor. He created a company called Strategy. It used to be called MicroStrategy. He's changed it to Strategy. And he created a Bitcoin instrument. What it is he buys Bitcoins and then he lends money, raises money on it, and then pays dividends on it, right? And he created this machine and he just keeps buying Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin, buying Bitcoin. So long story short, he created something called a Stretch, which is, it's a stock too, but it's a saving account. So it doesn't move too much. It's supposed to hang around $100. So you're not going to make money on the actual stock, but by holding that every month, you're going to get like almost a 1% return. So you're getting 11.5% per year, right? So your bank is giving you less than 1% on your savings. If you have a good high yield savings account, maybe 5%. Citi got it. American Express, I think, has it. But ain't nobody paying 11.5%. Well, that's available through Stretch. But a lot of us don't know that. Okay, so these are I'm just trying to open your mind up. Like, there's opportunity, e-commerce, digital products, content media, real estate wholesale. There's options. There's AIs to help you. There's communities. There's access. You have what it takes to continue. What you need to do is custody your own money, grow it. If you don't have money, then grow your skills. Invest in yourself so that you can acquire the money. And once you acquire the money, then you look for alternatives, assets that you can invest on. There's metals, right? Platinum, gold, silver, right? Copper, right? There's houses, there's businesses, right? There's passive and there's active, right? There's ones that you have to take care of, and there's something that you buy and you wait, right? Bitcoin is buy and wait, right? If you buy a house, you got to fix the toilet, you got to do those things. You understand? So you have to understand what works for you. How much risk are you willing to take? Which is, I'm coming out right now. I'm going to finish with this. Before you even think about investing, you need to understand this. Okay? Who are you? Are you a conservative investor? Are you a moderate or are you a high risk? And the way to find out is real simple. If you have investing $100 right now, how much of it are you willing to lose? And that, I mean, lose, like zero. Like, if I'm putting $100 out, I'm willing to lose 100%, you're a high risk investor. You should be on that side, right? Oh, you want to lose just 50? Yeah, 50-50, you know? Moderate. Lose, trap. I work hard to get this money. I don't want to lose any of my $100. You're going to be on the left side. You're going to be a conservative investor, and you're going to take things like VOO is the same thing as the S&P 500, but it's better because they don't charge you as much of a fee to manage it. Remember how I told you that these people invest the money for you, they get paid and they take your wins, right? And they put it in their pocket through fees. VOO and VOT, you get exposure to the whole market and to the S&P 500, either one, and it's lower what they charge, right? And then you got to buy bonds. Bond is when you're buying the government debt because the government has credibility and it gives you and it pays you, right? He says, hey, I'm going to pay you 25% if you leave this money with us for a year, 10 years, whatever. And then 10% of Bitcoin because you want to get some exposure. And another thing here is that a lot of people never talk about this. Cash is always a position. So it should always be cash in your portfolio. So if I have $100 here, $300 there, $1,000 in Bitcoin, that should be 100, 200, 5%, 10%, whatever it is, should be in cash. Because when the world crashes, when things come falling down, that's when you buy. I know it's counterintuitive, right? But this is one of the rules. I only have 2 rules in the trap. Protect the bag. Put the bag to work unless it violates rule number 1, which is protecting the bag, right? So like you have to have money, right, on the side so that when things crash, double-digit red days are buy days. So that means if something crashed 10% or more, that's the day you deploy that cash. But if you don't have that cash, then you can take advantage of those days and you're going to end up probably selling on those days instead of buying. So you sell on green days and you buy on red days. And with that is my time. I really thank all of you guys for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you guys here. I just want to tell you that the world is coming to the blockchain through tokenization. It's right here. There's $16 trillion coming to the blockchain, aka the crypto space. And you can take advantage of that because there's only 400 million people in the world right now involved in this space. And there's 8 billion people. So we're so early. And you're in the right spaces. I don't know how you got here, but let me tell you something. I know what I'm talking about, and I don't got, when you're good at something, you don't got to tell people. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you, but I know you're going to tell me later how great this was. Probably one of the best presentation online that you sat through. So this is what I do. Come see me, come rock with me. Until then, protect the bag. You already know, man, we stay trapping. Yay! Questions?
Yo, this was actually really good. This was actually so good. This is actually incredible. If y'all got some value from this, can you put a 1 in the chat? And also, I'm not sure if you answered this already. But can you answer this question? Somebody say can you buy Bitcoin off of Robin? I'm not sure if you answered that already.
Yeah, I did. You could. Actually, you can buy, I believe, like 35 coins off of Robinhood right now. And you can even actually do something called the dollar cost average, which is the strategy we're talking about, which is an auto pay. So it automatically removes from your bank account $20, $10 whenever you set it, and you'll buy the asset. It could be a stock or crypto. It can do that actually, and I recommend. So you don't have to think about it. You got to remove. There's a book that I want to recommend you guys called Atomic Habits. That's not a book. It's a manuscript. I read it every January, every beginning of the year. I read it because it kind of tells me how I fix myself, right? And one of those things that says in that book is you got to make the things that you want to do easier, and you got to make the things that you don't want to do harder. So if you don't want to watch TV, remove the batteries from the remote control, hide the remote control, unplug the TV. If you want to invest, make it easy, automate the whole thing, right? So understand that. So I love Robinhood. Any other questions?
Now my question is this, right? So when it comes to cryptocurrency, I know there's a huge emphasis on owning your own crypto, right? Where it may be less convenient in terms of a speed thing, but it is more, you're putting your cryptocurrency in your own hands. What is maybe the benefits of owning your own crypto, maybe on a ledger, or maybe even just having it on a wallet, a DeFi wallet, things of that nature?
Okay, so that's a great question, right? Because it depends on the person, but like even $1,000 is a lot of money, right, for some people. So the way I see is that anytime that you feel like you need to protect your asset, then you can go the hard wallet way, right? So you have things like this that are like metal cards, you have digital ones, you have Trezor, you have Tengen. I actually made a post about it. So that's that. I would say that anytime that you cross the $3,000 to $5,000 line, you should be in one of those, right? But what I'm saying also is that don't wait until you have one of those to start. So if worst case scenario is leaving where you buy it, right? If you don't leave it in Coinbase, you don't leave it in crypto.com, you don't leave it in Gemini, you don't leave it in Robinhood either, right? You don't want to leave it there. You could, but the reason why people say that, because they say it's not your keys, not your wallet, is because you don't control it. Those companies can go out of business tomorrow, and if they go out of business, they file something called a Chapter 11 or Chapter 12, which is bankruptcy. And when they do that, they only have to pay the debtors. You're not a debtor. You're an investor. You're protected, but you're only going to get your money at the end of the whole court filing, and it's just a headache, right? It happened with Celsius, it happened with FTX, it happened with Mt. Gox. So that's the thing. That's why people say don't leave it. But like if it's money that you're trading, or a little bit of money, it's not a problem. But like the money that I'm investing for my long-term portfolio should not be on Robinhood. Like that you don't control it. If they go out of business, if you die or something happens, they go out of business, things can happen, and it will happen, right? So what you need to do is protect it. Now, if the best protection will be, yes, like somewhere like a cold wallet, but also the DeFi wallet is just as safe because you control the keys. Nobody controls it. So that means that you lose your phone, no problem. You get another phone, you access the internet, you pop in those keywords, and you have access to your money anywhere in the world. And that's the beauty of it, right? Like I go to Brazil right now. Before, you gotta only travel with $10,000. You can't do this, you can't do that. Right now, I just ship it. I ship $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to my keychain, my USB, and I walk through customs without a problem for still. You get me? And they don't even know how much it is. So it's convenient, and it's something that is but robots and AI and the agents that are right now popping up everywhere in the internet, they're not gonna use cash or digital, and they're not gonna use credit cards. They're gonna use currencies, most likely stable coins and currencies to transact.
Yeah,
It's
that's good.
it's not safe, Raj. It's not safe. You know why? Because of that same reason. Like it's probably the least safe thing that you can do is holding it there, because like I said, if they go under, they go out of business, something happens, you just, I'm not saying you're not gonna get your money. In some cases, you won't get your money. But in most cases, that if it's a secured investment, yes. That's another problem. Is you never nobody ever reads the fine print. If you have $1 million in your bank account right now, today, even though it's secured, nobody tells you that you would lose $750,000 if that bank went out of business. Oh, but I thought it was protected, trapped by the government. Yeah, is it protected up to $250,000? So if you want full protection, that money should be split in 4 accounts. But they don't teach this in school, because they want you to lose the 750. These are some of the things, you know what I'm saying, that you have to understand. So that's why you should always custody your money. Any other questions? And you guys already know, man, follow me on all platforms, Trapperversity. Most of my stuff is on Instagram. Ask any questions. I'm for the community. I answer. I'm always available. I do free Zooms all the time. I do these appearances in real life, in the internet. I'm here
Have
to
any
help.
other questions regarding, yeah. So any more questions? Any more questions? Any more questions?
All right. Hey, the other thing I want to just say here is a couple weeks back, I did 5 lives. Every day I talked about one thing: stocks, crypto, trading, investment, and I even talked about e-commerce, which is the Amazon thing. I'm going to release, I have that on my YouTube. I'm allowed everybody that was in this meeting to get access to it. At the end, I did a workshop that was like $300. I have the recording. I'm going to let you guys access the recording for free too. I trade live there. I show you how to trade live and things like that. So I'm going to extend that all to you guys here, because I really support these guys and whatever they're doing here. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And that was my time, man. I appreciate you, Mari. I appreciate you guys putting this together. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm out of here. Have a good one,
Thank you so
Leslie.
much. Can you tell the people where to follow you out on Instagram? Can you put it in the chat?
Yeah, I got you right now. Look, you're gonna go to this right here. Let me show you. Boom, boom, boom. You guys can still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right, right here on top. You see Trapperversity? TRA. Let me write it in here for you. It's at Trapperversity. There it is. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day, man. You guys enjoy your Friday night.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you so much.
All right, gang.
Y'all
Appreciate
listen.
you. Have a good one.
It's my actually not my first time hearing him speak. My first time hearing him speak on, a panel like this, and I'm excited because at the end of the day, it's about learning, it's about educating, and this is what we're here to do. We're almost down to the wire, y'all. And thank you for